evening. Welcome to the news on Rupavahini.
Hello there. Very good evening indeed. I'm Shra Maskinis.
I'm Manoj Hettiarachi. A look at the headlines.
The President pays an observation visit to the Horana Urban Council complex. Sri Lanka is to export rice from next year. People laud the government's decision to double the number of houses being built for low-income families. Health Ministry reveals that 60% of AIDS patients in Sri Lanka are found in the western province. Clashes in Thailand have intensified.
And for those and other stories in detail, President Mahinda Rajapaksa paid an observation visit to the Horana Urban Council office complex. He also inquired into the services rendered to the people from this office yesterday. The Horana Urban Council office was established at the old Magistrate Courts building in Horana, which was to be completely demolished. The building was taken over by the Ministry of Provincial Councils and Local Governments, and it was renovated to establish the Urban Council office at a cost of 35 million rupees. The office building was planned to provide adequate space for the people visiting daily for their various needs. The President exchanged pleasantries with the staff. He also handed over a sum of 20.5 million for the development of the Horana weekly fair. Horana Mayor Granville Rajapaksa was among those present.
Finance Ministry Secretary Dr. P.B. Jayasundara says that Sri Lanka is ready to export rice, catering to the demand of the international market. He was speaking at a seminar organized to create awareness on the ways and means to achieve budget targets among state officials in the Central Province. The seminar was held at the Upcountry Art Society Hall in Kandy yesterday. Over 1,000 district secretaries and Central Province Public Service Executive officers were present. Dr. P.B. Jayasundara outlined the sustainable development achieved by Sri Lanka in detail. Finance Ministry Secretary Dr. P.B. Jayasundara noted that Sri Lanka has produced rice in excess as there was no target of self-sufficiency. It is a target going beyond self-sufficiency, and that is the export target. The first challenge of preparing food items necessary for several countries was taken by Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is the supplier of 50,000 metric tons of rice to the World Food Organization in 2014. We will have to supply rice at the price, quality and classifications of the WFO, he added.
Well, the people lauded the government for the decision taken to double the houses being built for low-income earners. The government has allocated 500 billion rupees from the 2014 budget for this purpose. The number of shelterless families in the city of Colombo is around 50,000. They are doing various jobs, giving a great support to the greater Colombo economy, and some of them are carrying out small businesses. The government has proposed to implement special 3-year housing program for their benefit. In the first stage, the program launched from the year 2012 budget to renovate housing schemes built in Colombo and suburban areas few years ago will be accelerated. The renovation of the Maligawata and Zoitsa flats has been successfully completed. A proposal has been made in the 2014 budget to reconstruct other housing projects as soon as possible. Financial provisions for this purpose will be increased from 1.2 billion to 2 billion. 15 condominium schemes with 50,000 housing units will be built in selected places during the second stage of the program. Priority will be given to families living in temporary houses when making settlements in new housing complexes. These housing projects will be implemented with the assistance of the local construction companies. Several people paid a tribute to the government for taking this initiative. They said that they need a beautiful environment and a beautiful house like flats in the Matagoda given to shanty dwellers. The present houses are located in noisy environment. Children cannot study at homes because of this noise. Therefore, a new housing unit is essential for them to live in freedom. The President has doubled the financial provisions for housing during the year 2014 budget compared to the budget during the year 2013. Therefore, we believe that the President is preparing to give new lives to the poorest of the poor in the island.
Measures have been taken to evacuate special species of animals in the area earmarked for limestone excavation for the Holcim cement factory in Puttalam. The main aim is to release these animal species to forests before the excavations. The limestone excavation at Arvakkalu area for the Puttalam cement factory is being carried out since the year 1970. The company owns a vast land of area of 4,500 acres and it is a natural forest. An area of 3,000 square meters is cleaned annually to obtain limestone. Slow-moving animal species living in the area are to be released to other forests under this initiative launched in 2007. Around 2,000 animals of 61 species have been released to forests last year with the assistance of International Union for Conservation of Nature. The environmental coordinator of Holcim, Menanjaratna, told Rupavahini that the aim of the program is to protect the ecosystem in the area located in close proximity to the Vilpattu forest. He added that this animal rescue program will be implemented before a week of clearing the forests for the excavation of limestone next year. Animals such as caterpillars, spiders, snails and turtles will be released to other forests under this initiative. 110 animal species who are on the verge of extinction have been identified in the area. The project director of the International Union for Conservation of Nature, Sampath Gunathilaka, said that the animal species endemic to Sri Lanka who are under threat of extinction could be protected through this initiative. He added that a biodiversity study will be conducted to identify animal species who cannot move out from their places of living. This project is aimed at evacuating these animals to safe places.
Well, the Health Ministry reveals that 60% of AIDS patients in Sri Lanka has been found from the Western province. 52% of HIV-infected persons identified in the Colombo district, and Health Ministry said that adding that 337 AIDS patients have died during the period of 1989 to the year 2013. International AIDS Day has been commemorated today. This year's theme was zero new infections, zero discriminations and zero deaths. Around 35 million HIV-infected persons were reported worldwide last year. The World Health Organization says that over 2.1 million youths were among them. The very first AIDS patient was found in Sri Lanka during the year 1986. He was a foreigner. An HIV-infected Sri Lankan was found during the year 1987 when he returned to the island from overseas. The first HIV-affected Sri Lankan was identified during the year 1989. Since then, up to September, 1,808 HIV-infected persons had been identified in the island. 70 children are suffering from the disease as they had been infected with HIV from their mothers. Blood samples of around 5,000 persons have been tested this year. It has been revealed that 159 persons had been infected with HIV. Majority of them were between the age group of 25 to 49 years. 95% of them got infected due to unsafe sex. 4% had been infected from mother to child. A person who got infected during blood transfusion was also found in Sri Lanka. The reasons for AIDS infection were drug addiction, the increase in the number of migrants and sex trade. However, the number of HIV-infected persons in Sri Lanka was at a minimum level compared to other countries, mainly due to the island nation's culture and the high level of education. The National Coordinator of the UN Integrated Programme of HIV, Dr. Dayanath Ranatunga, said that Sri Lanka gets a special place among countries with low prevalence of HIV in the world. However, there is an increase of persons living with HIV in the island. This was revealed in studies conducted during several previous years. There was an indication in the increase of youths among them. Therefore, several awareness programs will be implemented targeting youths next year, he disclosed.
එම නිසා ඉදිරි වසර ඇතුළත තරුණයින් ඉලක්ක කරගත් යම් වැඩසටහන් රාශියක් අපි සූදානම් කරලා තියෙනවා.
The march organized to create awareness on World AIDS Day among the people was held in Borella town this morning. Director General of Health Services Dr. Palitha Mahipala was among the participants. The main ceremony on AIDS prevention will be held at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute in Colombo tomorrow. Another march organized to create awareness on HIV among the people was held in the Badula town with the participation of several prison inmates. It was organized by the Badula prison officers. Well, a march organized by the Batticaloa Prison Welfare Service Association was held this morning with the participation of prison inmates.
The term-end variety entertainment of children studying in Colombo district branches of Carlton Preschool Group was held at the Nelumpokuna Mahinda Rajapaksa Theatre this evening. President Mahinda Rajapaksa was the chief guest.
Our principal, First Lady Madam Siranti Vikramasinghe Rajapaksa, told us that studies come first.
The Carlton Preschool Group was launched in 1986 based at Carlton Residence in Thangalla with the aim of gifting a generation of children endowed with knowledge and talents to the country. It has been expanded to 8 branches countrywide. The Carlton Preschool Group imparts knowledge to children using new education methodologies being implemented in developed countries. The Executive Director and Principal of Carlton Preschool Group, First Lady Madam Shiranti Rajapaksa, presented a memento to Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa, who was a special guest at the ceremony. The Chief Priest of the Hunupitiya Gangarame, Colombo, the Venerable Galabuda Gnanissara, and several ministers and MPs, Chief Justice Mohan Pires and Ministry Secretaries were present.
Minister Nimal Siripala De Silva says that benefits of development projects being implemented with foreign loan assistance have been passed on the people. He added that Sri Lanka's debt servicing is being maintained at a high level comparing to the country's gross domestic products. The minister was speaking at ceremonies organized in connection with the opening of several water supply schemes in Bandarawela area. Minister Nimal Siripala De Silva further noted that the opposition is to criticize the government for taking loans over the limit. But these loans were taken to build roads and implement water supply schemes. Such a massive work cannot be completed even in another 100 years if the government has not taken these loans. He pointed out that Japan has obtained loans 238 times more than their gross national product. Sri Lanka has only obtained 75 times more than the GDP. Britain, who is coming to impose laws against Sri Lanka, has taken loans 125 times over GDP, and the United States 175 times, he said, adding that there was nothing wrong in obtaining loans if the government has the ability to repay such loans. We have never defaulted loans taken by us, he said. Portable drinking water projects at the Bandarawela, Amagastowa and Puhulpola areas have been completed at a cost of over 400 million rupees. Around 14,000 families have been provided with pipe-borne drinking water facilities. 80 villages will be benefited under this initiative. Minister Dinesh Gunawardena and Parliamentarian Rohana Pushpakumara were present.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa paid his last respects to the late Ayurvedic doctor Upali Pilapitiya and educationist, the late Mr. R.I.T. Alice. Dr. Upali Pilapitiya served as the secretary to the Ayurvedic Ministry and the director of the Navina Ayurvedic Research Institute. The president paid his last respects to the late Dr. Pilapitiya at Vedamadura in Kaspawa yesterday. He extended his deepest sympathies to Dr. Mrs. Mallika Pilapitiya and family members.
President
Mahinda Rajapaksa paid last respects to the late Mr. R.I.T. Alice this evening at his residence at Kuruppulen, Borella. He extended his condolences to relatives of the family. The body of the late Mr. Alice will be kept at D.S. Seranayaka Vidyalaya in Colombo from 8:30 am to 11 am tomorrow. The funeral of Mr. Alice will take place at the General Cemetery, Borella, tomorrow evening. Final rites will be performed at Gateway College, number 185, Koswatha Road, Rajagiriya. The organizing committee has requested the mourners to be present at the college premises by 2:30 p.m. tomorrow. The motorcade carrying the body of the educationist, the late Mr. R.I.T. Alice, will leave for the General Cemetery, Borella, after performing final rites.
The school division of the National Exhibition on New Inventions, Sahasak Nimayum 2013, was resumed at a ceremony at the BMICH premises in Colombo today under the patronage of Minister Bandula Gunawardena. The temporary built hall, the venue of the exhibition, was destroyed in a fire yesterday, but there was no damage caused to the school division Davidson exhibition. It is now being held at a separate place. A special unit was set up at the exhibition premises to obtain details and data on creations destroyed in the fire. 71 new inventors have provided relevant data to the unit. Minister Patali Champika Ranawaka has appointed a special committee to provide necessary assistance for the inventors following the assessment of the damage. They will be encouraged to continue their activities. Complaints on new inventions destroyed in the fire will be accepted tomorrow as well. Minister of Technology, Research and Atomic Energy Patali Champika Ranawaka said that measures will be taken to recreate new inventions destroyed in the fire. He added that this question was emerged in an unexpected manner. It has deprived of several of our new innovations. However, no one was injured in the fire raged in the building. No big damage was caused to new innovations of our school children. It is a great strength for us. We have been able to open this exhibition for the public within a short period of this unfortunate incident.
The chief incumbent of the Palmadula Rajamahawihare and Sripada Temple, the Venerable Bingamuye Dambathina Thera, assumes duties in the post of Chancellor of the Villasa University. A special felicitation ceremony was held at the university recently to welcome the new Chancellor under the patronage of Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa yesterday. The Venerable Bingamuye Dambathina Thera proceeded to the temple from the Palmadula town in a motorcade. The ceremony was held with special cultural events. The first felicitation puja to the Venerable Dambathina Thera was recorded by Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa in the presence of Ministers W.D.J. Seliviratna, Pavitra Vanyarachi, Lakshman Yapa Abewardena and Chief Minister of the Sabaragamu Province, Mahipala Herat. The members of the Mahasangha, headed by the Venerable Ittapane Dhammalankara, the Venerable Professor Billangvila Vimalaratna and the Venerable Divyagaha Yasasiteras, Diwadan Nilame of the Sri Dalada Maligava, Pradeep Nilanga Dela and several state officials.
Police in Thailand have fended off protesters who have descended on key sites in Bangkok trying to unseat the government of Inlak Shinawatra. Protesters entered TV stations to ensure their leaders' call for a general strike for Monday was broadcast and Ms. Inlak was forced to evacuate a police complex. However, tear gas and water cannon defied protesters at the government house and the police headquarters was also defended. 4 people have died and dozens of people have been injured in the violence. Today is the 8th day of protests aimed at unseating Ms. Inlak. The protesters say that Ms. Inlak's administration is controlled by her brother, exiled ex-leader Thaksin Shinawatra, and they want to replace it with a People's Council. Some 30,000 protesters gathered at about 8 sites, including the government house, television stations and the police headquarters. Thailand is facing its largest protest since 2010, when thousands of red-shirt Thaksin supporters occupied key parts of the capital. More than 90%, mostly civilian protesters, died over the course of the 2-month sit-in.
During the news, the summary. The President pays an observation visit to the Horana Urban Council complex. Sri Lanka is to export rice from next year. People laud the government's decision to double the number of houses being built for low-income families. Health Ministry reveals that 60% of AIDS patients in Sri Lanka are found in the western province, and clashes in Thailand have intensified. With that, we conclude our night's news bulletin together with Sharon and Sharifa. Wish you a very pleasant day.
Good night.